Hare Krishna. I'm muted. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare
So
Krishna.
thank you, all wonderful devotees. It's a combined session of so many wonderful devotees here, and so happy to see all devotees. If possible, devotees can switch on their videos for some time at least, while we are interacting for a few minutes. Thank you, Vikram Prabhu and Aditya Prabhu. Jai Ho. Happy to see. And Kundan Prabhu. Jai Ho. So happy to
Hare
see.
Krishna, Prabhu. Hare
Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu and Ananta Prabhu and thank you Shubhadev Prabhu, Yogesh Prabhu, Hari Prasad Prabhu, Chintu Prabhu, Amar Kishore Prabhu and Srinitya Prabhu ki jai. So thank you all wonderful devotees here for today's special meeting. So you are regularly attending Ananta Gaur Sundar. Am I audible? Network stuck.
The voice is not audible actually.
This is working. You are okay. They are not working. Yeah, obviously. Something can you do? See now, all videos are stuck. That means what? Hare Krishna, am I audible, Prabhu? नहीं आ रहा है. लेकिन सब video stuck.
Yes, true.
Yes, sure.
We have a problem.
Yes, Prabhu, very much audible.
Audible? Okay. ठीक है, anyways. Yeah. But why our connection is so bad? I can't switch on video also. There's no connection here. Any mobile also Zoom is there. We can go.
Actually,
Okay.
today tower little poor. Tower little poor.
ठीक है, anyways. At least I'm audible, I think, without video. So I'll just speak. So we are very grateful today. We have with us very special association today of His Grace Ananta Gaur Sundar Prabhu.
Yo.
So obviously there is no need of introduction of Ananta Gaur Sundar Prabhu. That's why I'm not going to introduce him. But I want to share something from my heart. You know, my heartful gratitude that Prabhu is there with us today. So my association with Ananta Gaur Sundar Prabhu is since the beginning days of my Krishna consciousness itself, right? You know, and it is my great fortune that we have been together, you know, always. You know, I remember initially I was staying. Uh, we were staying in Voice for some time, and then suddenly an incident happened in 2006, due to which we all shifted to hostel. And I was fortunate to be given opportunity to stay at the Lotus Feet of Ananta Gaur Sundar Prabhu in his divine room. So, so in the hostel also I was staying in his room. It was so ecstatic to get his association, his wonderful simplicity in his room. I learned how to be a nice simple devotee. Obviously I used to always trouble him since beginning till date. I always trouble him. That has been my service to him. but it's such a wonderful to get his association. And in beginning days, even I remember sitting in mess. We were taking prasadam in mess in the HJB hostel mess because there will be offering of the boga. And sitting in mess, having many times his association, I can't never forget. You know, even discussing with him about joining Brahmachari ashram in the in the very beginning days of my Krishna consciousness is so ecstatic. So I can't forget all these things. And then, and when the time came to pass out from voice, and then it was he who was the first one to come to Calcutta. Like we were all going to our own jobs, about to go to our own jobs. So Anand Gaur Sundar came to Calcutta, and he took some special job called as temple job. You know, so, so I never heard about it. Such a thing exists. You know, so because I was telling Acharya Prabhu, I don't want to go to Noida, something Calcutta. I was trying to get job in Calcutta. I was not getting anything. So then I came to know that Anand Gaur Sundar was in Calcutta, and he got something called temple job. So immediately I called him, Prabhu, what is this? How you got this? You told nothing, you come talk to Acharya Prabhu. So immediately I called Acharya Prabhu. Acharya Prabhu told, you come to Calcutta first. So immediately I came to Calcutta. I remember 22nd of November. And we had a meeting with Radharaman Prabhu and myself and Anand Goswami Prabhu together. We joined temple as a temple job. So we were together since that day. Always we are together somehow by Krishna's grace. We together joined the temple job, and then in temple job also, although five of us joined, but together we were serving in Sankirtan department, book distribution and massless gift. Then together we told that was my prominent service to him to always travel in. Right? So, and also together we got initiation in 2009, you know, from Maharaj, and together as we spend more time, and we joined ashram together on 2nd August 2010, you know, and together we in 2000, yeah, after that I started serving in Jamshedpur. I was serving in Jamshedpur, and 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 then I was sent to Ranchi, and Prabhu was serving in Kharagpur. Prabhu was preaching in Kharagpur. I was preaching in Jamshedpur, and then after some time I was preaching in. While I went to Jamshedpur, I was preaching in Ranchi to these wonderful souls who are sitting there. Shri Nitaya Prabhu, the first one, the first inspiration of Ranchi. So while I was preaching there, you know, and Aditya Prabhu was there, still that video is there of Aditya Prabhu and Srinivaya Prabhu and Abhinav Prabhu doing the drama. Like, so while you were there, I got shifted more to Ranchi, and then slowly Anand Goswami shifted to Jamshedpur, right? And then I shifted from Ranchi to Kharagpur, and Anand Goswami slowly came to Ranchi, right? So in that way, we had a circle, Jamshedpur, Ranchi, Kharagpur, and Prabhuji Kharagpur, Jamshedpur, Ranchi. So in that way we were together in the circles, and that's how our connections were always like always overlapping. So we were always together in that sense. And then in 2012, I remember 1st April 2010, Ram Navami Day. Both of us together got shave our head. Right on the same day in Kharagpur itself by Acharya Ratna Prabhu. Together we were together there, and we all just went to train just to shave our head on Ramnami to Kharagpur. So that also happened together. So everything together. We were always together. And then so that is 1st April 2012. Then after that, 26th August 2014. You know, both of us got saffron together from His Holiness Bhakti Chadu Swami Maharaj. So there also we were together, right? And our lockers in Brahmachari Ashram was always together next to each other, right? So by Krishna's grace, we have been, always together, and I have been, and yes, in Rath Yatra I can't forget. In 2011, Prabhu gave me service in Rath Yatra of Kids Festival, you know. So he was the one who pulled me in Kids Festival, and he was taking care of entire cultural program. So I used to assist him and trouble him, obviously. And as I always with him, so I always love to trouble him, and he has been tolerating me and correcting me and chastising me, as he is actually senior to me, because he came in Krishna consciousness in 2004 and started chanting 16 rounds in his first year itself. Right, so and I came late in 2006. So actually, Prabhu is 2 years senior to me in that sense. So, but somehow because college batch wise we are in the same batch, so that's why Prabhu deals with me as a friend. But actually, Prabhu is my worshipable senior, and I love to take his association and hear from him and understand Krishna consciousness. Personally, So this is all about our together, physically together, but actually personally I take a lot of inspiration, and I see as he has as years went by, he has been going very deeper in the studies of Bhagavad Gita. He did Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Shastri, and not only that, he teaches Bhakti Shastri so regularly, teaches Bhagavad Gita, and teaching Bhakti Vaibhav also. Teaching Bhakti Vaibhav also now. That means first six cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he is giving classes not to just to Indians but all over the world, and to big, even in his classes, sometimes very big scholars are also sitting. So sometimes he shares with me that someone asked question from Madhvacharya's commentary and so many different things. So, so he is actually, and more he is teaching to them, and he is himself diving deeper into the studies. So it is greatly inspirational for me, because personally for me also, whenever I get also doubts in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, any concepts, especially technical concepts, I personally love to immediately run to Ananda Sundar and ask him immediately. I love to disturb him suddenly. Prabhu, question I have, please answer immediately. And whenever I ask him, I get a very satisfactory answer. He explains very nicely, as he has nicely learned. And also, I always keep telling, sometimes all of you also come to me with some technical question. I tell you, please talk to Anand Sundarpu, because I see he is so deeply learned and very devotional, in his explanations. So very inspiring for me. So I'm very fortunate, as many devotees were asking questions on creation, and he is not just authority on creation, but it is one of his most favorite subjects. He loves to speak about this subject of creation and glorify Krishna. Through that, as Srila Prabhupada said that, you know, Mahavishnu's Leela with Prakriti and the Ras Leela of Krishna is not different actually. So, so we can try to understand this Leela and appreciate in that way Krishna's wonderful pastimes. And so let us hear from Anand Gausundapu, and let us welcome him to our today's class by three times loudly chanting Hare Bol!
Haribo, Haribo.
See Prabhu, Kundan Prabhu, the next Ranchi batch, and obviously Vikram Prabhu. So happy to see all of you here. Thank you very much. So over to Anand Gausundapu, please.
So I have a request to all the devotees. Now those are physically here, they can ask directly only. And those who are there on Zoom, so what they can do is they can raise their hands electronically. You can see you have an option. So you can electronically raise your hand. Hand raise option is there. Wherever you get a doubt, hey, already raise the hand.
I was testing Google, sorry.
Okay, test it. So whenever you get questions, you can ask me questions, and then we'll proceed. Because one of the reasons I'm speaking that, because this session is going to be very technical, so don't be fearful by hearing the terminologies. Things are very simple. Sometimes you become very fearful by hearing terminologies. And also this session, because I know a lot of questions will come on contradictions. So basically, I'll tell you how there is level of authenticity regarding the information creation in different cantos also. So there is a creation given in second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as there is creation given in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And both of them, they are complementary to each other, but some places you will find there is a change in sequence. The different sequence given in some places in third canto of Bhagavatam. But then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam should be considered more authentic in that case, because there is more focus on creation at that time. And that happens in general also. See, in general, when we speak English, nobody expects us to be grammatically correct. Now, nobody can catch, oh, this tense was not right, that tense was not right. We generally accept each other. Same thing is true even in science. Like the type of model of cosmology given to the students, actually speaking, it's totally wrong in one sense. But then that is given to stop the queries of students. So then that is how they don't get a question regarding cosmology anymore, and they don't read scriptures. Prabhupada would call it a spiritual slaughterhouse. So that's not right at all. Similarly, even the science which we read, mathematics which we read, like chemical. I told this many times before also. Like when we went to our lab for the first time, you were in which section? First year? Section 2. So you were in opposite batch. I was in section 7. So when we went, so that time, first time we got the chemical. Not I didn't, we got the chemical, the lab assistant got a chemical. And he said, what is the volume of the chemical? And we said 100 ml. 100. It's plus minus. Then he saw second chemical. What is that? Now we knew. We said it is 100 plus minus delta. So it is delta 2. So delta 1, delta 2. It should be delta dash. And then he mixed both the chemical. And he said, how much is volume? And very easy. 200 plus minus delta 1 plus minus delta 2. He said, no. Plus minus eta has to be there. There has to be physical error or compressibility factor which comes in picture. So then these are all exact details, and in general we don't talk about them when we don't dwell in a particular subject deeply. So same thing is true with Bhagavatam also. In Bhagavatam also, when a particular topic is taken in depth, then technically things are very deep. Other places, a little bit difference in sequence may be there. Same thing we will find in Prabhupada's purports also. Some places is very particular, some places is not very particular. So that's the place where the creation is dealt in very much in depth, and that is the focus. That is more in the second canto. And also we find another model in Brahma Samhita, which is also given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita model is more from Brahma Samhita. So what I have done is, when I learned, I inculcated both the models. Model of Bhagavatam as well as model of Chaitanya Charitamrita or Brahma Samhita. So that is how we learn both the models. Because as far as creation is concerned, nobody can understand creation completely. No human being has that capacity. So that's the actual truth. So there are unlimited details. And that is why you will find in many other Puranas, certain details are given which you may not find in Bhagavatam. But essential aspects of creation are given in Bhagavatam. And no human being can fully access or know all the details. So extreme amount of details are there. That's why knowledge has no end. Of course, Bhagavatam, when we say knowledge has no end, means correct knowledge has no end. And when Stephen Hawking says that there is no end to any knowledge, means they don't know only what is right. So our knowing, at least we know the actuality. They don't know whether that is right or wrong. So that's why we know things much better than what they know. And we know the essential aspects. So I'll start with that. So before starting, I'll give a little background so that we understand certain things. Don't go into my technicalities. This is a different topic. But I couldn't get a better chart than this. So that's why I'm explaining through this chart. So how expansions happen? Its expansions happen, all expansions happen from Krishna himself. So the technical details will not go into that. Krishna expands Balramji. Here you can see Balramji, where my mouse is there. Then from Balram, you can find here, comes first quadruple expansion. Vasudev, Sankarsan, Pradyumna and Niruddha, who stay in Dwaraka and Mathura. Okay. Now the Sankarsan, the first Sankarsan, he is also sometimes called Mool Sankarsan. He expands as Lord Narayan. And Lord Narayan expands into unlimited Vasudev, Sankarsan, Pradyumna and Niruddha, who stay in spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka. So highest planet is Golok Vrindavan, where Krishna and Balram stay. Then comes Mathura Dwarika, and then comes all Vaikuntha Lokas, including Ayodhya, the place of Narsingdev, Varadev, Kurmavatar, all they come in this category. So from this Narayan comes second quadruple expansion, which are again Vasudev, Sankarsan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. You can see here. So this second Sankarsan is called Mahasankarsan. So first one is called Mool Sankarsan, second one is called Mahasankarsan. So first Sankarsan is the cause of all expansions in the spiritual world. Second Sankarsan is the cause of all expansions in material world. And that is the reason sometimes Lord Sankarsan or Balram is said to be origin of everything. Or Lord Nityananda is said to be origin of everything. So this is Mahasankarsan. Now Mahasankarsan expands as Purusa Avataras. This is material world starting here. So then comes Brahmajyoti. After Brahmajyoti comes material world. So in material world there is Karnodaksha Vishnu. In every universe there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And then is in each and every body, in each and every atom, and between each and every atom is Karnodaksha Chirodaksha Vishnu. So that is how the sequence of different people are there. At least this terminology has to be very clear if you want to enter in the mysteries of creation. So Karnodaksha Vishnu is called Paramatma of total material creation. Entire material creation with all its living entities. So if we consider all the living entities as soul, entire creation as body, then Paramatma is Karnodaksha Vishnu. Same Karnodaksha Vishnu, you see bubbles here. These are each of the universes. So he expands in each of the universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So this is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So when each universe is considered like a body, all living entities in that particular universe are considered like soul. Then the super soul is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu further expands as Chirodaksha Vishnu, who is an accessible personality for all the demigods. So all demigods, they reach only Chirodaksha Vishnu. They can't see Garbhodaksha Vishnu, they can't see Mahavishnu. And what to see a personality in the spiritual world? No possibility. And Chirodaksha Vishnu also sometimes give darshan. Usually he just gives in the knowledge in the heart of Brahmaji. And all demigods have a trust. Brahmaji cannot lie. Unlike the politicians of current day. So Brahmaji conveys the knowledge to all the people. What did Lord speak? That is exactly what happened when Krishna came. Krishna appeared. They are more fortunate than they hear Akashvani, the voice of not Akashvani Kendra, but of Chirodaksha Vishnu. They are extremely fortunate. Then they get the darshan of Chirodaksha Vishnu. So that's very rare. But he is the only accessible personality. Okay, so these are the three Vishnus. Now with that background, we'll go ahead. Okay, before that there is a question. Yes, Srinidhar.
Prabhuji, when you said about Akashvani, so we read in many Puranas or we see in many places there are a lot of Akashvanis. So these Akashvanis are only by the Chirodaksha Vishnu or can be by demigods also.
Generally, Akashvani for ordinary people is by demigods. In this case, because demigods are the hearers, they are not the speakers. So the speaker is Chirodaksha Vishnu. Because Indra only starts speaking, other people will understand. Arey to bagal mein baitha hua hai. No Akashvani is required. He's not in Akash at that time. But generally they are demigods. So these are the three Vishnus. So we'll not go in details of this. May be another topic. Now we will go to the creation. So if these concepts are clear, then we'll go to another ones, keeping them in background in the mind. 100 means they are quadruple. They come together. So they are unlimited quadruple sets. Nee, Mahasankarshan only one, na? Is the second one. First quadruple expansion is Mool Sankarshan, second quadruple expansion is Mahasankarshan. Now later on they'll come, they'll not be called Mahasankarshan. Later on they'll not be called Mahasankarshan. Somebody had a hand raise, Vikram Pro.
Ji, this universe is body and Garbhodaksha Vishnu is super soul of this material.
If this universe is considered like a body and all living entities in the universe are considered like soul, that's an analogy. In that case, Garbhodaksha Vishnu will be called a super soul. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Fine. So then we'll move ahead. Already we have been waiting. So now I'll enter into directly into creation. Just a minute, I'll share screen with all the devices. Siddha, okay? Yes, Siddha.
Prabhuji, why Sankarshan is called Moon Sankarshan?
वो name है. Why you are called Siddha?
Okay, okay.
तो नाम रखा है. और मूल संकर्षण basically मूल means root. Root of the beginning. That means first one. It is easy to remember. So it's easy to remember. That's why that name is given to him. And that's his eternal name. See, for you at least, no, your parents have put the name. But Lord's name is eternal name. किसने रखा, क्यों रखा? मूल संकर्षण इसलिए रखा to just to remember that his मूल means first one. He is the beginning of all other quadruple expansions. So मूल संकर्षण. So it's easy to remember. Okay. Clear? ठीक. So the next one. So now we'll go with process of creation. So as Mahavishnu and these small globules are our universes. So we'll move ahead. So first today more we'll talk about the primary creation. So the person who does the primary creation is Mahavishnu, or he sometimes called Karno Daksha Vishnu, who sleeps in Karan ocean. So Karan literally means cause, and that's why Prabhupada sometimes translate it as causal ocean, one which is cause of everything. So Karan, it comes from the word Karan, and it's called Karana Daksha Vishnu because he's the cause of everything. So Udakshai, so from him the universes they come out. And Udakshai basically Udak means water. So he lies in the Karan ocean. Udaksai, he sleeps in the causal ocean. And why it is called causal ocean? Because this ocean is cause of everything. So this ocean is not made up of water. This ocean is made up of matter in unmanifest and manifest state. So this is not an ordinary one. It's pretty extraordinary one. So this is about Karan ocean and this Mahavishnu. How this ocean is formed, now we'll go gradually. So the formation of ocean is given here. So that's here. So this Karnodaksha Vishnu, and just above Karnodaksha Vishnu, or in that ocean we can say, lies Pradhan. Now see, Pradhan also, if you know the Sanskrit, it's very easy to remember. Pradhan means the principal one or the main, like we have Prime Minister, Pradhan Mantri. So there may be many ministers, but the Prime is one. So similarly, this is called Pradhan, which is actually metal energy, the prime metal energy. And that is causal ocean. So Pradhan is called unmanifest material nature. Unmanifest material nature. Unmanifest means you can't see it. You can't hear it, you can't taste it, you can't touch it, you can't do anything with it. So that's called pradhan. And why it is unmanifest? The reason is in pradhan, three modes of material nature are in equilibrium. All creation takes place when person is imbued with passion, rajagun. But because there is no rajagun, there is no creation. And when there is no creation, there is nothing to maintain. So mode of goodness is also in equilibrium. And because there is no creation, no maintenance, there is no question of destruction. There has to be something to destroy. So mode of ignorance is also in equilibrium. So it's like an abandoned house or an abandoned kitchen. So nothing is there. Now what Karma Vishnu does, so this is, and at the same pradhan, when we say yeah, so I'm coming to that level. So basically when we say this cloud is entire metal creation only. We can say pradhan, we can say it's pradhan, but even after it is manifest, it remains like cloud only. So whether manifest or unmanifest, both are in that case. So I won't say it's just pradhan, it may be mahatattva, it may be full all 24 elements, but that's basically whole metal creation, that cloud. So that's basically pradhan, and it's eternal. Like Lord is eternal, metal nature is also eternal. Because metal nature pradhan is present even before kala, time comes in picture. So then it's eternal pradhan. Also, along with pradhan, there is a prakriti. When we say, so what is this prakriti? Basically, there's three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. They are also eternal. Why? Because they are reflection of three primary spiritual energies: Sandhini, Samvid, Ladini. Sandhini, Samvid, and Ladini, they reflect in this world as goodness, passion, ignorance. Entire spirit, we ourselves, are made of Satchidanand. It is composed of Sandhini, Samvid, Ladini. From Sandhini comes Sat, Samvid comes Chit, and from Samvid comes, Ladini comes Ananda. So all three. So we are also composed of these three energies. Entire spiritual world is composed of three energies. Similarly, all material elements are composed of their reflection, that is three modes of material nature. So that's called Prakriti. So when Pradhan and Prakriti are mentioned together in any verse, then understand Pradhan is the one which we are talking about. There's a material ingredient. This is sometimes called Upadan Karan. I won't speak a lot of Sanskrit words. I'll avoid. So this is called Upadan Karan, the metal cause. And this there is a Prakriti which is composed of three modes of material nature. When we roughly say Prakriti, then it might mean sometimes Pradhan also. But generally they are separate. Then Karanodaksha Vishnu, what he does is, he looks at the jivas lying on his body, who don't have a gross body, who don't have a subtle body, but they have unlimited material desires. Because of that, they are extremely distressed. They want to enjoy, they don't have any body. So Mahavishnu generally keeps them in sleep. But when accidentally, if they get up from sleep, what actually happens is, they become very much distressed. So they are with Lord, but they are not happy with the Lord. Desire is a property of soul. Desire is a property of soul. Soul is spiritual material. So there are desires. Desire, it's so subtle, nobody can stop it. What do you mean by inanimate and animate? Mhm. They are in charges. They are the in charges of three modes of material. See, when there are personalities like Durga, Kali, all these people, they are persons behind each and everything. So each and everything is a person. Personality is there. Like somebody is called engineer. That doesn't mean that whole day, whole night he'll just keep on working on laptop or he will keep on working on a machine. दिन भर machine घुमा रहा है. That's not engineer. He will eat sometimes, he sleeps sometimes, he takes care of his kids. He has many things to do. So similarly, the primarily, if they have a particular department, they call department in charges. Okay. So this Karnodaksha Vishnu, now he glances on this Pradhan. When he glances on this Pradhan, huh? Okay. So Jiva, that's why when Jivas, when Karnodaksha Vishnu sees that Jivas are very much wanting uh, material desires to be fulfilled, that time he becomes, okay, can you repeat the question? I'll repeat after this. But I request the devotees, if they have some question, they can speak, unmute themselves and speak. अभी छोड़ दीजिए. Now we'll leave. Later on I'll speak. So then he begins, so because of that he becomes inspired to create Karnodaksha Vishnu. What are the dual purposes of this world? First purpose is facilitate the desires of living entities to be fulfilled. You want to enjoy separate from Krishna, try it in full. And second one is, naturally they will not be happy in this world. So then there is an opportunity to facilitate them to go back. So then they may go back also. That facilities are there. So those facilities, where those facilities, we have ISKCON, we have Prabhupada books, we have our temples, we have our holy name, all these things are there. So that's why Karnodaksha Vishnu, he glances on Pradhan, and that glance is called Kala. It is filled with Kala, and Jivas consisting of their karma and Swabhava. So Kal, who is this Kal? Kal is basically called Mahakal or Lord Shiva. रुक जाइए, अभी मैं पहुंचा नहीं उधर. ठीक है. So wait, have patience. उत्साह निश्चय धैर्य. So Kal is Lord Shiva, because unless until time is there, a photograph doesn't turn into a movie. You may have set of photographs, but if you remember in the olden days, what they would have is that they would have this reel and it would rotate. And that is how this particular photograph would turn into movie. So it moves with time. Like here also, if you pause immediately, things will stop. So things were in pause, now things have to move. The timeline has to come at the bottom of your screen. So when things move, then the nature moves. So that is how that's called Kal. And this Kal is a bit special than the spiritual world, because in the spiritual world, Kal assists. Means you can control time. Here you are controlled by time. We can't bring a moment back in this world, but we can bring everything back in the spiritual world. So there's a difference between the spiritual world and the material world. So Kal is considered the controller of this world. That's why all the people, they worship Mahakal, the big temple of Mahakal in Ujjain. So that's basically Lord Shiva. And it is also, this vision also consists of Jivas. So Jivas means, Jivas, all the living entities, they go along with their karma and swabhav coming from the past life. Karma means whatever you had done just before the destruction of this world. Let us say you had stolen something, you are supposed to be punished by Yamdutas who are eagerly waiting, and suddenly there was destruction. You can't escape. Again, creation happens, you will directly be there in front of Yamdutas. So, no question of escaping. That's called karma. And Swabhava means person's nature. So, we'll be born with a particular nature. So, that's called karma and Swabhava of the Jivas. See, karma is more a gross manifestation of your Swabhava. But we may even work against our Swabhava also. Like I may be feeling very greedy, but that doesn't mean that I'll steal money only. It may prompt me, but my good culture can stop me. Or I may still not steal. You have to speak, and it's better if somebody has this headphone so that it doesn't reverberate.
Connected.
I have to mute myself.
Particular type of karma that that goes deeper into its swabhava or vritti, into in subtle body. So is that is in that way that karma goes into deeper into that in his system. When somebody is doing karma, then it becomes habituated, then it becomes swabhava, and go deeper into his system, then it remains in his subtle body. Is that swabhava you are telling about, bro? Okay.
Basically, it was a clarification. So karma only, repeated karma turns into Swabhava. Swabhava is more of a part of subtle body. And karma is a result of your past life, past karma. So that's called karma. So this karma and Swabhava, jivas enter into it. And now what happens is this pradhan, which can be compared to be like an unmarried lady, now becomes impregnated with jivas. So it becomes a pregnant lady. Who is the father? Father is Lord Mahavishnu. But because actually Lord Mahavishnu doesn't directly touch Pradhan. In that sense, who becomes father? In that sense, Kal becomes father. That's Lord Shiva. And Pradhan, or the in charge of Pradhan, you can say, that's Parvati. That's why Shiva and Parvati are considered to be the mother and father of all living entities in material world, or all conditioned living entities. And that's why there's the worship of Shivalinga, Parvati and Shiva, mother and father of the entire creation. So now what happens is because of the touch of Kal, the three modes of material nature which were inactive now becomes active. And whatever we are saying, this is very concise. Because if you go in detail, who gives the potency to Pradhan to get beget children? That is Advaita Acharya. So that's the role of Advaita Acharya. He gives potency to Pradhan for begetting or for becoming pregnant with jivas. So that's the Advaita Tattva. So there are a lot of details, but we are having what we are having is a simplistic model, the most simple model. Srinidhi, I put a question.
This is the same thing you already clarified about the Acharya.
Okay, fine. So then this is a Pradhan. Now three modes of material nature which are inactive now become active. So when they become active, the nature of the three modes of material nature is that when one mode becomes prominent, other two modes automatically become non-prominent. And Krishna speaks that in Bhagavad Gita, and he says this is the way of subduing mode of passion and ignorance. Don't worry about passion and ignorance, just cultivate goodness. Goodness increases, passion and ignorance will be automatically subdued. So that's why there is a constant competition among the modes going on. This is depicted as Devasur Sangram many times. Demigods are in mode of goodness, Rakshas are in mode of passion and ignorance, and there is constant fight between them. So these three modes, they become very active. Now in the portion of, so this particular pradhan with disturbed modes or imbalanced mode is called Mahatattva. So that's why pradhan is compared to a unmarried lady, and Mahatattva is like a pregnant lady. So this Mahatattva, so that becomes, starts moving here and there. Mahatattva. This is a simple definition. This is all happening in ocean, remember. It's causal ocean. Now there is some portion of Mahatattva where Sattva is in Pradhan, is in prominence. That's Mahatattva and Sattva. Where Rajoguna is in prominence is called Sutra Tattva. And when Ahankar is in prominence, it's called, sorry, when Mahatattva is prominently in Tamaguna, it is called Ahankar. So Mahatattva in Sattva is called Mahatattva only, or you have to specify Mahatattva and Sattva. Mahatattva in Rajoguna is called Sutra Tattva, and Mahatattva in Tamaguna is called Ahankar. So different definitions. Huh? I just cut it down to the portion. You can't make all three. But from Tamaguna, a lot of things are going to come. Now from Sattva or Sutra Tattva, in 11th, according to 11th canto, it is Sutra Tattva. Only one thing comes out. That's like pretty useful for all of us. And sometimes even that is referred as Mahatattva in many places when we count 24 elements. That's Sutra Tattva basically. So from that comes Chittaha, which is the first covering over the soul. The one which helps one to identify with matter. It's like glasses for a 3D movie, where now you can go in a different world, 3D world. Otherwise, Sutra Tattva. From this comes Chittaha. So in Antakaran, there are four things: Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, and Chitta. So Chitta is this Sutra Tattva. From Sutra Tattva it comes. Earlier I had Mahatattva and Sattva Guna, but then later on in 11th canto I found it Sutra Tattva. It doesn't have much, it's not generally counted. So when we count Mahatattva, generally we say 24 elements, that's more Sutra Tattva. Now some devotees were saying it's Mahatattva only in Sattva Guna, but believing on the written scriptures, we find Krishna speaking it to be Sutra Tattva in Uddhav Gita. So that's Sutra Tattva. That's different from mine. Four things are there: Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, and Chitta. So Chitta comes from Sutra Tattva. Device we talk very preliminary thing. नए बच्चों को कैसे खाएंगे? हाँ, subtle body. Yes. So the Sutra Tattva. Now Ahankar, coming to Ahankar. So here Tamangod is very predominant. Ahankar also, there are different modes. Certain portion of Ahankar, goodness is in prominent. Certain part of Ahankar, passion is prominent. Certain part of Ahankar, ignorance is in prominence. It's like cows are in mode of goodness, but we have different varieties of cows, those who stay in Gosala. Your family, as soon as you go, she blesses you by attacking you. And you have Chitralekha, as soon as you go near her, she'll scratch her horn on your body. And then if you sit down, she'll put her head on your lap also. So that's Chitralekha. So cows also have different modes. So that's why there are different degrees of modes. So in Ahankar also, some places goodness is prominent, some place passion, some place ignorance. So Ahankar where goodness is prominent, from there comes the different elements you are seeing here in blue. From there comes karta, bhav or doer mentality. I am the doer. So that comes from mode of goodness. And also there is jnana sakti. Jnana sakti means knowledge acquiring potency. That's called jnana sakti. First we'll complete the blue ones, then we'll complete other ones, the brown ones. From passion comes two another ones, that's called karan and kriya sakti. So karan means cause. I am the doer, but then I can't do anything except desiring, although I'm thinking I'm a big doer. That's more of an illusion is created here. So then there has to be some cause. So basically there are pairs of cause and effects, karan and karya. For example, I am desiring to speak. Then what happens is there is a karan. So sarva karan karanam is Lord Vishnu only, who is spiritual. But now the material things have start. Then he tells to Agni and he tells Vayudev, move the vocal cord. They accompany and they move the vocal cord. Lord Vishnu's order becomes Karan or the cause, and their performance becomes the effect. After vocal cord moves, vocal cord becomes the cause. And the words which come out of my mouth, they become the effect. Karya. There are also 4 types, a lot of details are there. We'll not go into that details. 4 types of words are there. And then I'm speaking. So these words become the cause and they produce an effect in your ear. So like that things go in detail. So a lot of details are there. So that karan comes from passion. That's karan. And the effect is called karya. So it's like one thing causing movement in other, and then other thing moves and that causes the movement in the fourth thing. So in your wave mechanics, that's what you have read. So that is how the waves travel. So this is how things move forward through the pairs of karan and karya. Is it clear? So that's passion and ignorance.
Prabhuji,
And
one
also
small
passion
question.
causes kriya sakti. एक मिनट blue complete कर लूँ, then you can ask. ठीक है? So that's why I requested devotees to raise hands. So this passion also causes kriya sakti. Kriya sakti means the potency to do. And dravya sakti is the one which is made up of matter. Dravya means basically ingredients, if you say literally. That's called dravya. So dravya sakti, the things are felt. And due to kriya sakti, one gets a habit of doing. That's why passionate people are the ones who do a lot of things in this world. They are the ones who do. So that's kriya sakti. Those who are in mode of goodness, they understand things very nicely. But they need the help of people who can do to perform and create something. So that's kriya sakti. And dravya sakti is the last one, which is the effect which is produced. And that's the most grosser one, and that is what is seen. So now till now you have some question you can ask. Srinita has a question.
Prabhuji, when we say that Mahatma in tamas or ignorance, this ignorance and the ignorance which we talk in below, like the ahankar, which is prominent in goodness, passion, or ignorance, both are different.
See, in ahankar also, as I tell, like we may say, cows are in goodness, but within cows there are some cows in goodness. Some are passionate, will beat each other, beat us, and then there may be some who are in ignorance. They're just happy with eating and sleeping. So similarly, ahankar also, there may be portions which are in goodness, portions which are in passions, portion where ignorance is prominent.
Normally, Prabhuji, when in Bhagavad Gita, when we see that when Krishna talks about the person in ignorance, he says that in ignorance, like there is no work. People just like to be lazy and don't like to do work. But here we see that the actual effect happens in when ahankar is in ignorance. So what is the difference between these two?
See, ignorance means not the one whose activity, ignorance on whom the activity is done. So when a person is in ignorance, he becomes like a vegetable. Sometimes you can identify ये मूर्ति है या आदमी है, नाले में पड़ा हुआ है, मुंह से सब जाला है, जा रहा है. Person may be lying down in gutter not doing anything, and you'll find he's in ignorance. He's as good as dead. So that's the meaning of ignorance. So the effect is felt on matter. That's why people who are in ignorance, generally they become as good as matter, good for nothing. सब्जी जैसे पड़े रहते हैं.
Just like you gave the example of cow, like cow are generally in goodness, but in goodness you also find goodness, passion, and ignorant cows. So similarly here, the mahato, the ahankar, the mahato in ignorance, which is producing goodness, passion, and ignorance. These three different things. So this thing I was little difficult for me to understand that tamas is producing goodness, passion, ignorance is understood, but how it is producing goodness and passion.
See, it's a mix. Let us more than less than 33% ignorance, like a chemical, and more than 50% goodness. That may be called as Matattva in Sattva. One which has more than 50% Rajas, it will be called Sudra Tattva. And one which has more than 50% Tamas, it will be called Ahankar. But within Tamas also, now there may be some portions where there will be goodness in prominence. Somewhere passion is in prominence, somewhere ignorance in prominence.
But so it is predominantly tamas, not fully tamas. Oh, got it then.
It's not fully tamas. See, we are not talking about 100% here. Don't go to the digital world, it's the real world. Don't say it is 100 ml. No, you have to be born and for getting chastisement of that no lab assistant. So there's nothing like 100% in this world. So there are shades of each thing. So we are talking about shades here. Okay. See, even matter also, matter is not never 100% ignorance. Matter also there is some level of goodness. That's why some subjects which we eat, they are in goodness. Some places where we go, they are in goodness. So there is nothing like 100% ignorance. Okay. So that's shades. Jyotirmay Prabhu had a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So this goodness produces karta and passion produces karan, ignorance produces karya. So karta, karan and karya, are they some kind of elements?
These are mentalities which are subtle. These are mentalities, like we don't just borrow the gross body from matter, we also borrow the subtle body for fulfilling our desires, which consists of mind, intelligence, and ego. So then these elements, they also imbue us with a particular sort of mentality. Okay, but these are needed for us to exist. Unless until you have that karta bhav, how will you do anything? तो कुछ आएगा नहीं. So some karta bhav. That's why for initially only we are given some karta bhav. You can preach. Karta bhav is there. You can preach. You say no, I can just desire only. How then things will move. Then just sit down like a vegetable and keep on desiring. But then some karta bhav is required for us to preach also. So karta bhav is required. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu.
Roots of this nature, roots and ignorance. Root of this prominently. Mahatma, it is said that in Sattva it in Sutra Tattva, in Ahankar it is the ignorance that you said. So these three prominent distinctions, the what is the root? It is after Ahankar or it is just after Mahatma these three distinctions comes or beyond uh, Mahatma? Yes, that is my question.
These are portions of Ahankar.
What is the question? So these are portions of ahankar. Huh? See, I am talking ignorance. Now, ahankar, there may be some portion which are more in goodness, some portion which are more in passion, some portion which are more on ignorance. So they further transform. आगे transform हो रहा है. See, this is bud into a flower. So it's manifesting now. Now you may literally say, okay, they reacted with goodness, passion, ignorance. You can say like that. But that's not required as such because already it is there. हाँ, उसके बगल में था ना प्रकृति में. ये आपको समझ में नहीं आया वो आप उनको सेट्स का फंडा समझाइए. उनको सेट समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Maybe later on you can talk. So yes, you not able to understand. There's something called shades. Shades means some portion where goodness is prominent, somewhere passion is prominent, some is ignorance is prominent. Or in other words, in your own language, you can understand that fine. They're interacting. Okay. Srinita, bro.
Guruji, in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, "Prakriti kriyamani guni karmani sarvasa ahankara vimuratma karta hamiti manyate." So there can we correlate these two things like this, like from ahankar one gets karta bhav.
हाँ, we can say like that. So now from goodness, now further. See, as I was telling you, it's like more of a opening of a bud into a flower. Things are slowly manifesting. So then what happens is, further manifestation is Adi Dev, Adhyatma and Adibhut. Who are these Adi Dev? Adi Dev are the 10 Devatas. We'll find 10 Devatas come and the mind comes. Adhyatma is things which are going to be included within the living entities. Adhyatma. Adibhut means they may be part of gross body for a living entity, or they are the ones which make the material objects also. How all three works? I'll give an example for that. Now, for example, when I'm speaking, all these three have to become functional.
Prabhu,
Devta for speaking is
what was Adhyatma?
Adhyatma means subtle body and
Okay.
It's a part of Jiva. That's Adhyatma. Basically, subtle body, you can say. When I give example, things will be very clear. So, Adideva for the speaking is Agni. Adhyatma is my tongue. Now, the gross tongue and subtle tongue, we will not go in that detail. So, Jiva and Talu, they are the gross and subtle ones. So, that's Adhyatma. And Adhibhuta is the object about which I am speaking. So unless there is an object about which I am speaking, there is no question of speaking. ना बोलेंगे कुछ बोलिए. The first question comes किसके बारे में बोलना है? About what I should speak. So any material thing, then it's called Adhibhuta. So that's Adhibhuta about which I am speaking. Adhyatma is my tongue, and Adideva is Agni. Unless until Agnidev sanctions, I can't speak. Unless and tongue is there, Agnidev sanction will also may not work. And unless until there is some topic to talk about, what will I speak about? Even Agnidev is ready and tongue is there. Another example of I will be more clear. I is Adhyatma. Demigod of this is sun god, who is Adideva. And the thing which I am seeing is Adibhuta. Unless until Suryadev sanctions, I can't see. If I is not there, I can't see. And I also, they are gross and subtle. If subtle eye is not there, I cannot see even in dreams. But generally subtle eye is there, gross eye is not there. That's why even blind people see dreams. And then there has to be something to see. If there's nothing to see, eyes practically become dysfunctional because they have nothing to do. And that is the reason many times the aeroplane, when they move over the ocean, they are not able to differentiate between the ocean and the sky, and they end up entering in the ocean. That's why they have to hear the instructions. Because in many times they are not identified because the sky is blue, ocean is blue, nothing to see. ब्रह्मज्योति में चलते नहीं फ्लाइट नहीं होती. ठीक है. वो okay. I'll go to the next one. So if there's question till here, then you can ask. Well, let me explain and then please. So seems there's no question.
What do these sense devatas do, bro? They give the ability for the adhyatma to function, or like these all senses are part of their sense.
These are the in charges of all the. No, this is just for this. I'm audible to all the. So these all senses. I'm audible, na? They are also to be audible. And these all the sense devatas, they are the in charges of all the elements. They're personalities. Generally, they may be even pure devotee. They stay with Mahavishnu. That's when Krishna and Arjuna they go to meet Mahavishnu, they find demigods there. They are these sense devatas. There are three set of sense devatas. One stay with Mahavishnu, one stay with Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and one is the one whom we access. So all three are there. So these sense, and there are devatas in Vakuntas also, who are pure devotees, eternal associate of the Lord. So these sense devatas, they are the in charge of all the senses in all the universes. Like we have home minister in the center, we have home minister in the state. So home minister in the state is under the influence of home minister of the center. Same ministry but different people. So these are the original ones who are in charge of all the universes. Okay. So we'll go ahead. So I don't have track of time. So we'll take track of time. Huh? Yeah, so wait. Now we'll go to the next one. Now this Adi, from Adi Deva comes mind and 10 sense devatas. From Adhyatma comes Pran, 10 sense intelligence. From Adibhut comes 5 tanmatras and 5 elements. Now all these 24 elements are part of living entities except the 10 sense devatas. I just told Adhyatma to be part of subtle body just to explain a certain phenomena, that's it. So it's not that mind is not there, because we have tanmatras also. So tanmatras, we don't have tanmatra the elements, but our gross body is made of 5 elements. So similarly, mind is also there within part of subtle body. No, this is one of the airs. And this is a bit special in the sense because this prana carries subtle body from one body to another. And you can say all airs also come under the heading of prana. That sense of that is a prana. Like we have, when we say from here, this person is Vrajavasi, he may not be in particular in Vrindavan. He may be in Lohavan, Khadervan, or some other one. But from far off, we see that he is in Vrindavan. But when you are sitting in Vrindavan, you say, where is this person? He's supposed to be Vrindavan. No, he's in Khadervan. So then he says from Khadervan. Similarly, in that sense, also prana. Prana is basically the one which takes the jiva from one body to another body, and prana is the one which gives the vitality to a person. That's why in earlier days people will eat fresh things, not the packed things. Because in packed things, what happens is packed things loses prana. Fresh vegetables, they have prana. You put them in cold storage, they become like dead bodies preserved in the freezer. But the prana goes away. So even if you eat lot of sabji, you feel tired because of eating so much. It has no vitality. Similarly, masalas, the one which are freshly made, that would happen in the old houses. So they have prana. One which are packed, no prana. So these are like eating dead bodies. So then you get all 23 elements except this prana one. So no prana is there. And that's why prana jaldi chale jate hain. No, the prana leaves also. Prana is the one which gives vitality. And generally children have a lot of prana. That's why karma indriyas are very strong, they work very hard. But gyan indriyas are not very strong. Old people, gyan indriyas are very strong, karma indriyas are not very strong. They can see things, but they can't do anything. Both have trouble. So these are the 24 elements. We'll talk more about these things in detail, about these green ones. Maybe after that you can ask questions when I show the second slide. So these are the senses. There are 10 senses. First 5 are called Jnanendriyas. Jnanendriyas means one which help us in acquiring material knowledge or knowledge about matter. Ears, eyes, skin, nose and tongue, they are called Jnanendriyas, which help us to get Jnana or knowledge. And other 5 are called Karmendriyas, which help us in working. Hands, feet, voice, anus and genitals. So they help us in working, throwing out something out of the body or doing something from the body. So another 5 are called Karmendriyas. And there are demigods for each one of them, in charges are there. Ears there is Digdevata, for eyes there is Surya, skin Vayu, nose Aswini Kumaras, tongue Varuna, hands Indra, feet Upendra. This Upendra is not Vaman Dev, it's different Upendra, demigod Upendra. voice Agni, anus Mitra, and genitals Prajapati. Now see, Prajapatis, actually are many Prajapatis. Anybody who helps in expanding the population under the direction of Brahmaji. So they are called Prajapatis. Brahmaji also many Prajapatis. Huh? No, didn't. These are original ones. Sarga. It's not Visarga. And Sarga also there are two stages. Karya Srishti and Karan Srishti. So the primary, the first one. Karya Srishti. Karan will come later on. Then these are the, so these are clear here. अभी ये एक सेट है, ये किसके साथ है? महाविष्णु के साथ. ठीक है, ये नॉट 3 सेट्स. हाँ हाँ, ओरिजिनल सूर्य. You have desired to become like that? Yes, Surya Dev. He is not a Surya. He is Surya Dev. Okay, Siddha has a question.
Prabhuji, I have one question. You were talking about all the
मेरा
devtas.
स्पीकर वो है, रुक जाइए. हाँ, बोलिए सिद्धा.
I am asking about one question. You are talking about devtas, different types of demigods like Varuna, Indra, Dikpal, Surya, or these. So these are living in material world or spiritual world? Because you
Material
are
world.
talking material world, but you are talking about Mahatattva. So in Mahatattva, these concepts are there.
These all are in Mahatattva. They arise from Mahatattva, but these people stay with Mahavishnu.
They are staying in Mahavishnu. They are staying in Mahavishnu.
With Mahavishnu.
With Mahavishnu, but in material world also Indra, Surya are there. So these
They will
are
come
same
later. They have not.
They,
No, they are different personalities.
different personality. Okay.
They will come later on.
Okay.
ठीक है ना, बाद में आएंगे. Okay, so now these four, another 5: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. So these are called tanmatras. So they are ras, roop, gandh, shabd, sparsh. Very easy to remember. Ras, roop, gandh, shabd, sparsh. So these 5 are called tanmatras. And other 5, the right hand side, which I am showing here, these are 5 great elements. They are 5 great elements: earth, water, fire, ether. Prithvi, Jal, Vayu, Agni, Akash. And how it comes is, now don't ask how it comes. This famous question everybody asks. And the question is that I couldn't do any research, I couldn't find anything. I asked from many teachers and they said, we also don't know. So till now, we couldn't get any answer for that. But it comes. How from sound ether comes, from ether touch comes. Certain things are there, but we don't know the whole explanation. Rupa just talks about sound, ether and touch, that's all. Not beyond that. So from sound comes ether, from ether comes touch, from touch comes air, from air comes form comes fire, from fire comes taste, from taste comes water, from water comes smell, and from smell comes earth. The later elements have all properties of the previous elements. That's why this particular transformation is important. Like ether has only sound, air has touch, ether and sound, fire has form. You can see fire, when it moves, it makes different forms. So fire has form, fire has air, fire has touch, fire has ether, and fire has sound. So in this way, earth has all the elements: smell, water, taste, fire, form, touch, air, sound, ether. All elements are there in earth. So like now you will find in the earlier day there would be an ear, different small portion of antennas inside the bigger one. So like the earth has all the elements. That's why I told, don't ask how it comes. Okay, now there are a lot of questions. So we'll take questions. Fine. Srita Prabhu?
Now, just small question. So, these devatas who stay with Mahavishnu, they are like eternal. They are like eternal jivas, or like they are eternally with Mahavishnu, or like they also change.
I don't know what is qualification for becoming them. So I don't know. Other thing we understand is that they are supposed to be very exalted souls because they continuously stay with Mahavishnu. But they also they appear only when creation appears. So what we understand is when there is no creation, they are not there. Seems like they are not eternal. But we don't have any information beyond that. Sarga is there for 311 trillion 40 billion years. Again, for when he breathes in, there is no Sarga. But it is manifest and manifest. In that sense, that is eternal. It is eternal in the time it becomes manifest and manifest. See, Pradhan and Mahatattva, they keep on interchanging. But when Mahatattva comes, the demigods are there. When Mahatattva is not, the demigods are not there. The Mahavishnu is one universe or all universes? No. Balls have not come only. This is only ocean is getting made now. Wait. Ocean is not yet prepared. Don't come to balls. We are not talking about balls till now. Apart from balls, you ask anything. Talk anything about ocean. Don't talk about balls. Okay? Not there. No, it was unmanifest. It was there, but not observable. Okay. Jyotirmay Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, bro. Bro, so according to you, what is the scene now? Only Mahavishnu is there, and this ocean is there, in which there is disturbance. There is
And the
disturbance,
demigods have come out.
and the ocean is disturbed.
Ocean is disturbed. Ocean has disintegrated or manifested into 24 elements. 24 elements have come out. And these demigods are there.
Okay, bro. These demigods are there means this body of the demigods are there, and souls have occupied them. Something like that.
Means demigods means soul will also be there.
I
How
mean to
can there
say,
be demigod without soul?
these demigods are created means souls can never be created. These demigods are created
Demigods
means
have soul or no?
yes, bro. Souls will be there. But what is the meaning of creation of the devatas? That means what is being created here? What is created? Bodies are created. And bro, second question I had, bro.
You are asking what their bodies are made up of, like that, kya?
Yes, bro.
So what their bodies are created, it may be just one element. Because one thing is there that till now elements don't have a capacity to mix with each other. So their bodies may be made up of one element. Maybe Vayudev only body is made up only air. Ashwini Kumar's body is made up of only smell. Varun Dev's body is made up of only water. So like that. Now don't ask in detail about Indra का किसका बना उसका कितना बना है. Not given in Bhagavatam. But
Okay,
that's
bro.
what we understand.
Bro, one more question, bro. Bro, this ether has sound. This does not fit according to
वो
modern
है
science.
but उसके अलावा one element. हाँ yes
Bro, ether
yes
has sound. This does not fit. Ether means space. So in space, how sound as we know, sound means
हाँ
the vibrations in the air molecules. Air is not there, then how sound will come.
see actually what you are talking about sound
So
is
it
impure
like
sound. This is not a pure sound. Sound which we have in this world is impure sound. It's not a pure sound because they have not yet mixed. That's why I'm saying creation is unlimited. You can keep on talking about it. Because when these things mix, there is a different proportion in each thing which gets mixed. Prabhupada talks about the details also in one of the lectures. Like sound, ether has sound. How much percent of sound? Sound, there is pure sound, but ether has 50% ether, 50% sound. Then this 50% ether again has 25% touch, and 25% is remaining. So 25% in that 50% of 25% will be air. Again 25% remains. In that 50% is form. So there is a whole mathematics behind that. We will not go in that detail now. So that mixture which happens later on, and what we get is impure form. It's not a pure element. ठीक है? Akash.
yes,
Which makes
Guruji.
space. One which makes space is called ether. Aditya bro.
मुझे एक बार जस्ट लास्ट स्लाइड दिखाएं, कंफ्यूजन हो रही थी.
Okay. हाँ लास्ट स्लाइड दिखा दिया.
हो गया सर, ठीक, थैंक यू.
ओके यही क्वेश्चन था क्या?
एक्चुअली तो जो गुडनेस के अंदर आपने सेंस देवता से मैं मैच नहीं कर पा रहा था, मतलब दोनों लिस्ट एक साथ थे ना, मैं मैच नहीं कर पा रहा था. पैशन से ये जो भी आपने साइड में
आप लोगों को क्वेश्चन पूछा है क्या?
तो जी एक्चुअली कंफ्यूजन हो गया था कि ये जो आपने दिखाया था ये साउंड ईथर ये सब ये इग्नोरेंस से कैसे कनेक्टेड हो रहे थे, उसमें थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन हो गया था, इसलिए लास्ट स्लाइड देखना था.
ओके वो हो गया था, ठीक है. तो ये 5 तन्मात्रास हैं और ये 5 एलिमेंट्स हैं जो मैंने उस साइड दिखाया है. नेक्स्ट उसमें नेक्स्ट ये दिया तन्मात्रास एंड दिया 5 एलिमेंट्स. ओके इज क्लियर नाउ?
यस यस सर.
विक्रम ब्रो
जी मतलब जैसे वैक्यूम क्रिएट करते हैं और तो एयर निकालते हैं तो साउंड ट्रेवल नहीं करता है ब्रो.
नहीं सी सेम थिंग, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग हियर इज प्योर एलिमेंट.
अच्छा अच्छा yes.
What we are talking about sound, this is impure element, this is mixed one. These are the pure elements which have not mixed till now.
Oh.
Okay ना?
इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स किस कैटेगरी में आता है ब्रो?
मैं समझ गया आप क्या बात कर रहे हैं, but main thing is these are pure forms, they have not mixed till now. What you are getting, that's why I am talking about percentage of mixture.
Yes जी.
Okay, so they are not mixed till now. They'll mix then so what we get sound is not exactly sound alone, it's sound mixed with other elements also.
Yes bro.
Okay.
Yes जी.
And sound also there are 4 phases. First one can travel in the vacuum also. So there is a para, pasyanti, madhyama and vaikhari. So what you are talking about is called vaikhari, the physical manifestation. Pasyanti is the one which enters through the Mooladhara chakra, the lowest chakra of the body. So there's a different science, another detail of science. We'll not talk about it now.
Yes bro.
So the sound which modern science knows is very frugal. They don't know anything. They just know talk about vaikhari, which is manifest. Para is the actual sound, the most subtle and pure one. So Vedic knowledge enters through para, the most subtle one. Okay.
Yes, Guruji.
Air contains sound, touch, and ether. So then it is mixed now. Then how it is pure?
Qualities are there. Qualities are there.
Okay.
They're not mixed yet.
It's like one person beyond other person. Like no, let us say.
Like let us say,
is one man.
this one man, he can only do the job of engineering. Other person can do engineering and medical also. Third person can do engineering, medical, and he can do some construction also. So there is like different qualities which come in picture. Mixer, when I'll understand, you will understand later on when I go little later in. Okay, fine. So I will go ahead. Yes. So in this way, these 24 elements in unmixed state. So 23 is given here because we were not talking about this. So Mahatattva here we are talking about is basically Sutra Tattva. Sutra Tattva. And this basically composes of Chitta. 11 senses composes of mind, but intelligence is not being counted in Bhagavatam. That's why I wrote 23. But if we count intelligence, it becomes 24. So in this way, 24 elements are there. So Mahatattva, Ahankar, 5 Tanmatras, 5 gross elements, and 11 senses. 11 senses means 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Gyanendriyas. No, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Gyanendriyas, and mind. Intelligence is one which was not counted, but intelligence is also there. So then it becomes 24. Then what happens is, all these 10 sense devata, they say that, my dear Lord, we can't mix only. It's like there is haldi, there is oil, there is salt, there are cut vegetables, but they don't have opportunity to mix. And we can't just take little oil in the mouth, take little haldi in the mouth, and go and move your belly like that and mix everything. It doesn't work like that. We mix it outside. So when things have to meet, they have to mix. So then they start praying to Lord Mahavishnu that we want to mix in order to create. Where are they till now? They are there in Karan ocean. They are in Karan ocean. So then they start offering beautiful prayers to the Lord. That comes in Bhagavatam. Marganti yatte mukapadmanides chandas parneresu vivekte yasaga varso saridvaraya padam padam tit padapapanna. So there are a lot of verses are there. Third canto. And then what happens is, that time Lord sends his Maya Sakti, which is called Kali, and it is also called Vibrat Sakti. Vibrat Sakti means cohesive potency which helps one to mix. Now the mixing starts. Kali. This is the original Kali. Original, all are original only, but they have a role now. See the role of mixing things. Different roles. See, Kali also has unlimited associates, and they have different roles in material nature. So each element, actually speaking, is a person, is a personality. Behind each thing there is a personality. They all are associates of Kali. So then this is cohesive energy, and now because they are able to mix with each other, it's like there is churning in the ocean, Karan ocean. Now the example is given is, then when you put your hand in the water, what happens is bubbles are formed. Now the universal eggs started forming from which come out of the pores of Mahavishnu in a similar way. So that's the model given in Brahma Samhita. Now you talk about universes. Till now universe didn't exist. So these balls come out. Ocean is prepared. Breathes out. Bubbles come out. So now he breathes, bubbles come out, they become bigger and bigger and bigger simultaneously. So that's why all universes have the same age, all Brahmas have the same age. 311 trillion 40 billion years. हाँ? हाँ. अभी सन आया नहीं है, यूनिवर्स के अंदर सन नहीं आया है. Okay, ages of Brahma are same, but details of suns etc. may be same, may be different. Supposed to be same. Whatever is happening, opposite things happen. Till the end. Just reverse. Till the end. When you put your hand in water, bubbles come from water or they come from hand? Huh. So they come out from hand or they come out from water? From water. Huh? Huh. Same thing. Cause is Mahavishnu, but they are made up of water only. So similarly, these universes are also made up of 24 elements. They are not made of Mahavishnu, but cause is Mahavishnu's hand. ठीक? Mahavishnu doesn't use a pipe. Huh. And you put your hand, just go now. Put your hand in the tub, you'll find some small bubbles. There's air in each pore, na? And then you put your hand and these bubbles come out. Go and observe. After the class, you can observe. I have observed, that's why I'm very confident. I think you people are too observed. You did a lot of studies. मैं अपना पढ़ाई नहीं किया. Siddha?
Prabhuji, I have one question. So how causal ocean was created? So
अरे वही तो अभी तक बता रहे भाई. वही जो कॉजल ओशन था वो पूरे 24 एलिमेंट्स बन गया ना, वही तो पूरा ओशन है.
oh,
24 एलिमेंट्स का 24 एलिमेंट्स का पूरा ओशन बना हुआ है.
तो मिक्स होकर causal ocean बना है.
अभी मिक्स नहीं, मिक्स इसलिए अभी मिक्स हुआ है, जब भगवान जब विभ्रत शक्ति भेजते हैं तब वो मिक्स हो जाता है. पर सब कहाँ हो रहा है? सब ओशन के अंदर ही हो रहा है. और वो ओशन में जब महाविष्णु lies on the ocean, from the body pores of Mahavishnu, one universe comes out. And this is like when we put our hand in water, one bubble comes out. But like bubble is made up of water, similarly this universe is also made up of 24 elements. It expands also. It expands. So then what happens is then these universes are formed, and after that it remains for 1000 years of inactivity. I don't know which years are there. Celestial, you can say celestial is a common word. You don't know anything, you can say celestial year. So this is 1000 years. And after that Virat Rupa expands. So this I'll explain it. I just told in summary. So this Mahavishnu, when he's lying in the ocean, from each pore of his body, this one universe comes out. Each of these universes, when till Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, there is inactivity. As soon as Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters, he fills half of the universe with his own sweat. It doesn't give bad smell, it gives good smell. But still, it is made up of water. I don't think it should be salt water, it should be pure water only. But it is made up of water. But it's like very pure because made up of comes from the body of Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Are entire creation coming from Lord only? Huh? Huh. But Dhan is whose energy? Whose energy? Your energy? My energy? No. It is the energy of Lord only. So ultimately Lord's energy. So Lord's energy can get manifest. Huh? How you are now not God. So that we can't accept. So Lord can create matter also. So that water comes from his navel comes a lotus on which Brahmaji is seated. You can find Brahmaji here. Because Garbhodaksha Vishnu had not entered. So then for 1000 years souls are waiting to get a subtle and gross body. Not like that. Main thing is it is all given just to emphasize that unless Lord comes in picture, things can't function. At least by 1000 years, these are good enough time for jivas to realize that. If they get realized, then when they get a gross and subtle body, they'll have opportunity to practice bhakti. So that is the main thing. So this Garbhoda question. Now I will not go in all detail. So this fifth canto. So this is the whole. Now stem is not small. Stem is all big. Everything is within the stem only. पूरा जो दिख रहा है, all plates, मार लोग, जन लोग, तप लोग, पाता लोग, everything is within the stem only. One universe में ये stem के अंदर है, सब stem के अंदर. So all creation is within the stem only. No, not like. It's small only, small. But you can't see so small. We have limited eyes, so that's why it is made big here. Okay, so this is a conical. बोल सकते हैं. But what we have learned from Bhagavatam is that entire creation happens in stem. So big, thick stem. Thick stem comes from the navel of. Huh? I don't know if it's subtle and gross, but certainly it's material. Because entire creation is made up from the elements of the stem. Within the stem. Within the stem. We are sitting on the stem, our bodies are made of stem. Our ingredients of gross and subtle bodies are also made of stem. And stem is then made of both gross and subtle elements, all 24 elements. Okay, Jyotirmay prove?
Prabhuji, so that means the stem is not imaginary, na? The stem is like, if you want to see the stem, it won't appear like normal stem, na? Is it imaginary or is it really a
Obviously.
stem?
It is real. Real made of 24 elements.
Okay, bro.
Mute हो गए sir. Okay. ठीक है, so these are the. One bubble. So there are 14 planetary systems within this stem. So Brahmaji creates all these 14 planetary systems. Among them, in one of the places, Garbhodaksha Vishnu expands as Shridaksha Vishnu. Then there are 7 cells of the universe which are made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. So there are 7 cells. Yeah. It's not like so small the way it is shown here. So we are not going, that's not the prominent talk. And then within the, so this is basically, this whole universe is depicted as Virat Roop. Virat Roop is not different from universe. So then the demigods are created. So these all demigods are created by Brahmaji. So then comes, so this all Sarga, all these elements are there. Will not go in this detail, already you got. And then Brahmaji's creation is called secondary creation. So this Brahmaji praying to Lord. And then he gets potency for creation. So then he does a creation. So from head and heart comes Narada, from head comes Chatuskumaras, and then he creates Vedas, Puranas, 4 Varnas, 4 Asramas, and he increases population. So that is how things are made. He makes the immobile jivas, lower species, human beings, demigods. So he makes all these things. And all of them have different characteristics depending on their karma and their sabha, their desires and their paying capability. Paying capability is called karma, desire is called sabha. It may be different also, but we know the details of our universe. It may be same also. Can't see. See, unless I can speak only those things that are given in Bhagavatam. Because even Sukadeva Goswami says that nobody can know creation in totality. So he told, I'll tell to the best of my capability. Similarly, I'm trying to the what is best of my capability, what I've read from Bhagavatam. And fine. So these are the, so all the creation is within mouth of Krishna, within this belly. So this is essential aspect. Now we can appreciate the Leela where Krishna opened the mouth and entire creation was there in his belly. Hare Krishna. Huh? Inside the mouth, but universe is within the belly. Literally, you can understand. Krishna is within his, whole universe is within his the belly, and Krishna is there within that universe. How can you understand? We'll get a short circuit. Now, last questions. Vikram bro.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Guruji, the Jiva has karma and sabha, bro. So it is related to Bija and Kuta, those things, bro. That when Lord kills the Jivas, so that time the sins are nullified now, bro. So how karma is staying true, and it is related to karma and Bija.
So who said sins are nullified?
Lord liberates them, bro.
Lord doesn't liberate them here.
Yeah.
Mahavishnu doesn't liberate the living entities after dissolution. No.
Kali Avatar kills Nabru. That time the sins are neutralized, Nabru. At the end of creation.
No, even Kalki Avatar, when he comes, what he does is liberating from sin means liberating them from past karmas. But that doesn't necessitate that their swabha will change.
So this is related to Kutam Bijam, so that concept.
Kutam Bijam, those concepts. Only you are manifested. Falun Mukham. Falun Mukham is changed. It is destroyed. But that doesn't mean the tendency is destroyed. There's a difference between Krishna and Vishnu. Krishna, he destroys even the tendencies. But Vishnu may or may not destroy the tendencies. He may not also. No, वो different reason. That is for surrender. Different. ठीक है? Jyotirmai Prabhu still has a question or?
Yes, bro. One question, bro.
Okay.
Bro, in second canto we hear that the Lord desired to taste, then his tongue appeared, and then the sense devata appeared, and like that this description of Virat Rupa, I think so. So when how is that stem found? Is the Virat Rupa the description equal to forming of the stem?
See, stem is sprouted even before Brahma ji is made.
So all the planetary systems are made before Brahmaji.
No, they are made later on. Brahmaji divided it. See, stem is there, but you have to do something with 24 elements and do some construction. So construction engineer of the 14 planetary system is Brahma. And Virat Roop, when we say Virat Roop is a subtle manifestation of the universe. So it is a subtle manifestation of the universe. Because unless until concept comes, how will universe be made? Once you conceptualize the things in your mind, then you make a blueprint. And after making the blueprint, then you construct the house. You can ask all the details from Anima through. He spent so much of time in making so many maps about new temple and this 1.3 acres, 1.3 acres land. So this all blueprint is made. It is there in the mind, conceptual in the mind. Then it comes. But main thing what is given, spoken through in the second canto regarding Virat Rupa is, whole thing is depicted to just explain one thing, that unless until Virat Rupa, Lord desires, we can't even enjoy our sense gratification, we can't do anything in this world. That the whole concept which is being emphasized there. So that's why Virat Rupa, who is literally a universe itself, so after he gets a subtle and a gross sense, then it appears for other people. And that is the reason earlier days people, especially Grastas, would do yagyas. So these Gurukul children, when they do yagya, they say that we are putting everything into Virat Rupa, arranging things properly. So they put things in proper concept. Otherwise, we move the concept here and there. So things are done properly in a proper conceptual manner, then things can go the way Lord wants. And when things go the way Lord wants, we can enjoy this world, at the same time go back to God. We can be happy in this world and after this world. So for this Virat Rupa concept, I am not going in detail here, because already it's 7:30 cross. For that, there is a different class required. Okay,
Okay, bro. Yes.
Okay, so we'll end here. गंतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय
जय
सृष्टि लीला की
जय
महाविष्णु की
जय
भक्त की गौर प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल
प्रभु जी पीपीटी हमको भेज सकते
चाहिए इन लोग का पीपीटी भेज सकते
थैंक यू प्रभु जी
पीपीटी इसको ठीक से आएगा, मैं उसको पीपीटी देना सकता हूँ। क्या क्या ठीक से कंडीशन अप्लाइड है पीपीटी का। हरे कृष्णा होगा करके वो कुछ और बता देंगे, नाम उन्हें आनंद गौर सुंदर दास हरि बोल। So we are so grateful to Anand Gaur Sundar Prabhu for giving such enlivening class and explaining us in so many details which maybe we would have never imagined and answering so many wonderful questions. So we are very, very grateful and answering so many questions, actually so many questions which are there always. And because we have heard about, we hear about creation since Utkarsha camp, right? It's the first time we hear and we keep hearing, but still so many questions keep coming, and we are grateful that Prabhu has answered them so wonderfully and made our concepts more clear so that we can appreciate Krishna more and more and become sincere devotees. So let us thank Anand Gaur Sundar Prabhu by 3 times loudly chanting Hare Bol. That maybe in future sometime Prabhu can give us more enlightenment on many other topics. Prabhu has expert in so many topics. He is a scholar in Bhagavatam, all the subjects, all the kind of topics you can ask. So thank you. Haribo, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gratitude to all devotees for coming, assembling, all, and especially very dear Srinita Prabhu and Ananta Prabhu. So happy to see you. Senior batches of us. And thank you, Kundan Prabhu and Vikram Prabhu and Ananda Prabhu, Anu Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Nimayana Guru ki jai.
Jai.